Hey Handler Helpers, it's me, Monster Handler Tyson, coming to you with another episode of Quick Questions, the show where we answer your burning questions about the monster world. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comments below, and let's get started. Our first question is, have the monster handlers been able to figure out what exactly Epic Quibble is, and was time travel involved? And yes, we do know exactly what Epic Quibble is, and no time travel was required. We have managed to deduce that with 83% accuracy that we're 79% confident that Epic Quibble is in fact a red prismatic quibble, if a little faded from the sun from the era of Dawn of Fire. We are still unsure of why this one prismatic monster is the only prismatic monster in the modern day monster world, but a leading theory is that the corkscrew-shaped lower body of the prismatic quibble helped to anchor it in the main dimension when the outer islands mysteriously disappeared at the end of Dawn of Fire. Our next question is, who drew the cave paintings found on Tribal Island? Now, for all its technological and cultural advancements, the preferred artistic medium of the Dawn of Fire was cave painting. Monsters of all species participated in the pictographic representation of their society and used it to record everything from exciting discoveries to everyday objects. They were very familiar with the cave network in the interior of the monster world, and this served as their gallery. A passageway from the centerpiece of Tribal Island led down to these caves to be rediscovered by monsters of the contemporary era. Our next question is, how does Uduk and Cantarel walk? Cantarels are actually not rooted in the ground, so they are able to waddle around pretty easily. Uduk, however, are rooted shallowly in the ground, but they are still able to use their arms to uproot themselves and move if they ever desire to change spots, though an Uduk moving is a very rare occurrence. This question asks about the lore of the playground inside every Wubbox and if Galvana was the one who put it inside there. The playground, as seen in My Singing Monsters Playground, is what monsters see and experience when they are placed into a Wubbox to activate it, giving the monsters a wonderland of games to play while in there. Though Galvana created Wubbox, it was actually the Wubbox itself that used its artificial intelligence to create the playground just because they wanted to give back to the monsters that helped it power up. This next question asks whether Zigrap is one creature or is it three separate creatures sharing the same brain, and they're also curious how their sleeping animation works, so let's get into it. The Zigrap is a monster that is divided into multiple interconnected bi-levels, or crab stacks as they're known anatomically. 2 in the monsterling form and 3 in the adult form. As the monster's bio in Dawn of Fire attests, it has a sweet and squashy inside, which is how the monster is able to telescope open and shut so easily. Telescoping shut as it sleeps to take advantage of its soundproof body chamber is the most comfortable way for a Zigrap to catch some Z's. See what I did there? Because Zigrap starts with the Z. You know what? Forget it. Moving on. Now, our next question is, do the quads ever get together and hang out? Now, the quads are known as the bosses of their respective islands, which understandably is a full-time job for them, so the majority of their time is spent on their home islands. It is known, however, that natural quads will occasionally have a video conference to discuss improvements of the natural islands, though I am sure they spend a lot of time just chatting as well during those calls. Though we can't forget there are plenty of opportunities to hang out on Gold Island when they focus their consciousness on the higher plane. Now, our next question is, why does Hollow hide their identity? Is it for an evil purpose, or is it just a personal choice? Now, like a lot of humans on the human world, Hollow experiences stage fright when showing off their musical talent. So, to give it a little more confidence, the magical monster hides away in a hollowed out log. Rare Hollow is perhaps a little more comfortable actively inviting other monsters to stare at its azure wooded disguise to simulate the actual blue sky. Our next question is, how does produce sound? Unlike most creatures where the strongest muscles in the body is a tongue, strongest muscles are found in their ears. They're able to vibrate their inner ear muscles to make sound along with the air coming from their lungs. And yes, you did hear me right, ears are also connected to their lungs as well. Now, this next question I know has caused a lot of debate in the MSM community, and that is, does Mushaboom have a nose or does it have a beak? Now, Mushaboom has a very unique feature called the rostronasus, which acts as both a beak and a nose. It's got a tough outer shell that has nares or nostrils used for smelling, but these openings are also unique to act as mouths of the monster when it's ingesting treats. It's kind of gross, but the Mushaboom doesn't seem to mind. Now, behind the scenes, if you really needed to settle an argument with a fellow handler helper, the sprite used on Musha Boom is called VWY Nose. Our last question is, how fast do Bogart horns grow? Now, they grow relatively fast, but it depends on the quality and consistency of the mud piles they're standing in during the growth. Looser and shiftier mud accelerates full horn growth to just under a day, but these are more prone to snapping and breakage when they are converted to the monster's instrument. Harder packed, drier mud elongates the horn growing process to anywhere from 3 days to a week, but they are much more sturdier and can be relied on for several months of use. Alright handler helpers, those are going to be all the questions I want to answer today. I hope you enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any other questions or ask them on our next MSM Live. And as always, happy monstering!